Hey, my name is Nikas, and I'm an alcoholic. I wanted to talk today a little bit about relapse. Um, Relapse is one of those subjects that I don't think gets talked about enough in the rooms, and you can imagine why. There's a lot of fear around it, and a lot of different opinions. But I think it's one of those subjects that should be explored because people do relapse, and people who have relapsed hold a little bit of experience on what to do next. There's a common a phrase that some people say in the rooms that says relapse is not a part of recovery, or they will say it as relapse does not have to be a part of recovery. And those two statements on their face can be true if relapse has not been a part of your story or not a part of a story of somebody you're working with. However, those two statements, they're basically lies for somebody that has relapsed. And so sometimes sitting in a room, when you hear people make these sort of these bold statements, it brings people to a feeling of feeling that they've done something wrong, they've done something bad, and that's really what I want to talk about here in this video is just to sort of take all the badness out of it. Okay, so I'd like to start by saying I do not promote relapse going forward. Right? So do not mistake my words as a reason to go relapse. However, if relapse has happened or is currently happening, so past tense to now, right, has already occurred, right? Then relapse is the truth for you, right? And really, what I found about this program is this program is all about investigating the truth, right? I don't like to investigate the truth. I like to have my thoughts and my ideas and my me, selfish, self-seeking, self-centered, my. But in reality, what this program teaches me is it's not about what I want. It's about what actually is, right? So, say you're going down the street and somebody cuts you off and then flips you off. That's what is. That's the truth. Do I like it? Not necessarily. Do I? But that's the truth. So as it being the truth, I can respond to it either as a nice guy. Oh, that person must need to get in, or like a jerk. Fuck yeah, chase them and do all that kind of. But either which way, the idea that they shouldn't have or they should have done something different, that's make believe. That's not true. That's fantasy. That's that's not dealing with a full deck. That's thinking that things should be other than the way that they are. And that's how I want to talk about relapse today. Is really kind of get into the fact that if relapse has happened in your life, then it is a fact. It is the truth. And my suggestion is to investigate the truth. Because quite often, always, quite often, the truth is where you're going to find the good stuff, right? Because our cuckoo crazy thinking, you're just going to find cuckoo crazy ideas. But when we start investigating the truth of things, that's when you start getting some actual aha, some real actual answers. I occasionally, you see the smile on my face. I occasionally at meetings will when somebody busts out with an anti-relapse, go on talking about anti-relapse and out of fear, blah blah blah. And I will say, understandably, there's a lot of fear around relapse. However, my standard line is, if you have not had relapse happen in your story, then you're unqualified to speak of relapse. Unqualified. Do not have the qualifications to speak of relapse, in my humble opinion. The way I sort of talk about it is, so imagine the difference between an astronaut and an airplane pilot. You know, so both are a means of aviation, right? One is going to give you all the, an airline pilot is going to tell you how you can fly, how you land, just the properties of lift and drag, and winds coming from the front, tailwinds coming from the back. I mean, they're going to be able to tell you everything they can tell you about flying. And then there's the astronaut. And the astronaut has to learn everything about flying, but then they actually go a step further, right? Because they actually leave the atmosphere, go out into space where there is no lift and there is no drag and there is no tailwinds and headwinds, right? So something totally different, something absolutely totally different. But then they have to re-enter the Earth's atmosphere and actually re-enter into like AA, re-enter the program, re-enter, have a re-entry period. And quite often what I find is people who are airline pilots are trying to give solid information to people who've just been an astronaut. and not that they may not have some good ideas. I'm not saying that they wouldn't have some ideas, but all of their thoughts and thinking and ideas are all going to make believe, because they've never been there. They don't know. They have a thought, they got an idea, but they've never actually been there, so they can't tell you from experience. And what I've learned about this Alcoholics Anonymous thing is you want to learn from people that have had experience because those are the people that are going to know. They're going to know what it is that you're going through. So my suggestion is, if you have relapsed and your sponsor is not somebody who's ever relapsed, give it a shot. See if it works. If it doesn't, and maybe you keep them as your sponsor, but maybe you consult other people who can teach you all about their reentry periods and just all the different things. Because in my humble opinion, if something has happened in this world, right? Happening or happened, past tense, then that event in life is the truth. So let me talk about the wills at this point here. So there's my will and there's God's will, right? Okay, so what's the difference? Well, my will, I went out on my will. Okay, so let me break down the wills. This is the way I see it. See however you want. This is the way I see it. So my will is always going to exist in my imagination only. Okay? It's going to think of, well, things could be, or they should be, or they would be if XYZ, right? But my will is always in imaginary negotiation with life as life is. But the moment that this imaginary negotiation stops and I actually make an action, a recordable action in the universe, right? My cause then, right, becomes can cause another action, can cause somebody else, right? So what's that called? Cause and effect. So once I actually take an imaginary thought and turn that into a physical action, it has gone from the realm of make-believe into the realm of reality, God's reality. And my decision, right, then can be a cause for someone else's action. What did I just call it a second ago? I'm so retarded here. Cause and effect. So that cause can have an effect in many other people's lives, not just my own, right? So whenever it's my will, it's only in my head and it's imaginary, so it doesn't have effect. It's no cause and effect on other people. But the moment it leaves my imagination, it becomes an actual recordable event in the time-space continuum of, existence. It becomes part of God's will. Some people will disagree with that, but this is my understanding. Once something actually happens in the recordable world of God's world, it is part of God's great creation, right? So nothing, in my opinion, happens by mistake in God's world, right? So there can never, ever, ever be a cause and effect that was an accident in God's world, in my humble opinion. There can only be things that are meant to be because God sanctions it to be. So how does that relate to relapse? It relates to relapse in the sense of, when relapse is an idea, when I'm just kind of thinking about it, that's my will. But when it actually happens, it actually turns into a recordable event in the universal time-space continuum. And the moment that it actually happens, it's a cause and effect in God's world, right? And God creates all the causes in his world, in my opinion. So, one of the other things I want to talk about with relapse is oftentimes these people with long-term sobriety, the further and the longer the time, I think they forget what the definition of powerless is, right? So we come in, and in the very first step, we admitted that we were powerless over drugs and alcohol, right? And that our life was unmanageable. But we admitted that we were actually powerless. So what does this powerlessness means? It means that I have lost the power of choice. The power of whether to choose or whether to not is not my own, right? So alcoholism is a two-part disease. I've got the obsession of the mind, allergy of the body. Allergy of the body is once I put the drug, drink, or substance in my body, I have this unexplainable occurrence, the Dr. Spany calls it the phenomenon of craving, of wanting more, more, more. When I'm stone cold sober, right? Nothing in my system. The first part of the disease is obsession of the mind. An obsession is a thought that's so strong, it pushes out all other thoughts to the contrary, right? So you got all these other thoughts that maybe, could be, sort of, would tell that one no. But no. An obsessive thought, it pushes all those out, right? It's a lie that presents itself to be, hey, here's the truth. Hey, believe me, all right? But it's still a lie. So I take an action, right, based on a lie. So I take an untrue action from an untrue thought, and that kind of gives me untrue results, right? Or sucky is the way I like to call it, right? So the sum total of my life is I'm either making decisions based in true thoughts, or I'm making them based in untrue thoughts, right? So an obsessive thought is an untrue thought. It says things like, you can drink tonight, no one will know tomorrow. You can get high today and make it to work on Monday. You'll be able to get away with this. Nobody will know. It'll be different this time. This time it'll be good. Yeah. So your brain knows exactly what to tell you to get around your brain's, security systems, right? So that's what an obsessive thought does. It's so good because it's your own mind. Your own mind knows how to get you. So it actually comes up with these crazy thoughts, untrue thoughts, and then you like, oh, okay, and I do that. But then all of a sudden, the allergy kicks in, and the unexplainable occurrence of wanting more happens. And what could have been a one-time thing for a normal person, for me, all bets are off. Who knows when this is going to end? I certainly don't know. It usually ends when something bad happens. I either run out of money or lose a job or lose a boyfriend, something like that. So that's the disease of alcoholism, right? So powerless means that the power in choice of which do I choose, a true thought or choose an untrue thought, I have lost that power in choice. That's what the big book of Alcoholics Anonymous tells us. So I'm going to read straight from was it page 24, I think? Yeah, it says, the fact is that most alcoholics, for reasons yet obscure, right, have lost the power in choice in drink, or drugs, whatever your thing is. Our so-called willpower, right, that thing that hey, I got willpower, I can do this, right? No. That willpower becomes practically non-existent. That means it doesn't exist. That means like it's no more. It's out the window, right? We are unable at certain times, when? The time you need it, to bring into our consciousness, bring into the front of the mind, right? So you've got the obsessive thought telling you crazy thoughts, right? All of a sudden, unable to, at certain times, to bring into a consciousness with sufficient force the memory of the suffering and humiliation of even a week or a month ago. We are without defense against the first drink. Okay? Without defense means it's not your choice. There's a line back in back somewhere that says, God has either removed the problem or he has not. So since this is about finding a power greater than ourselves, which is going to restore us to sanity, if you still don't have a little spiritual shield in between you and, oh, sure, then your spiritual maintenance needs some work. Okay? So first of all, I just wanted to make sure that everybody knows that it's not that you're a bad person that you pick up, or you start drinking, or you start doing whatever it is you do. It's not that you're a bad person. It's you are powerless, right? And so in step one, I admitted, shoot, I don't have a choice. This is like beyond my choice. I admitted I'm powerless and my life is unmanageable. Step two, come to believe that there's a power greater than me that can restore me to sanity. I think there's something out there because all these people, all these guys in here, they've been doing something and it's working for them. So I, slowly but surely, I come to believe that there's something out there that can restore me into following the true thought from the untrue thought. All right. And then step three, I make a decision to turn my will and my life over. All right, I'm going to do this thing. And then steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, these are the house cleaning steps. The house cleaning steps is to face and be rid of the things in ourselves that are blocking us. Blocking us from what? The ability to make those decisions. Everyone has intuition, right? I call intuition how the universe speaks to me. I cannot hear my intuition if there's a lot of fear upstairs. I cannot hear my intuition if I'm really angry at somebody, motherfucker. I cannot hear my intuition if I'm full of guilt, shame, and remorse. And I'm like, oh, God. I just can't hear my internal guidance. So my internal guidance is always telling me what to do and what not to do. But the problem is I can't hear it because I got a head full of crud. And so steps 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 is to face all that stuff and then be rid of it. Right? Because that's the stuff that's blocking us. Then all of a sudden, once that's done, once you're done through step 9, man, you've had a huge transformation. Those 9-step promises, just read through those. That's a huge way, transformative way of being on this planet. Are these extravagant promises? Hell yeah, they are if they're not happening for you. Seriously, they're extravagant promises. So, face and be rid of all those things. In the back of the book, there is, on page 120, in the 2 wives, because it's about relapse, right? The first paragraph, it says, perhaps your husband, mind you, this is written in 1939, perhaps your husband, perhaps your wife, perhaps your trans girlfriend, boyfriend, whatever. That just, the person, this is written to the person who is the partner of. Perhaps your husband will make a fair start on a new basis, but just as things are going beautifully, he dismays you by coming home drunk, or lit up, or jacked up, or pilled out, or heroined out, whatever. If you are satisfied, he wants to get over his drinking or drug use. You need not be alarmed. That's what the book says. Though it is infinitely better that he have no relapse at all, as has been true with many of our men, it is by no means a bad thing in some cases. It is by no means a bad thing in some cases. Okay? So, Bill went to law school, writes like a lawyer, putting this, building a case. He's not giving you any wiggle room here, right? Though it is infinitely better that we have no relapse at all. That's because if you give an alcoholic or a drug addict a whole bunch of wiggle room, what do? They use it, right? So he's writing here that it's infinitely better if you don't, as has been true for many people. But the next thing there it says, it is by no means a bad thing in some cases. Okay, so that second half of that sentence, that's where the gold is. If you've never relapsed in your life, then the first half of that sentence is where you stand, and that's the position, and you shake your finger at meetings. If you've relapsed, that first fucking part of the sentence, it means nothing. Let's look at the second part of the sentence, right? It is by no means a bad thing in some cases. Now, what would those cases be? In my humble opinion, as somebody who has had relapse happen in his life, it is from the point of view of, oh my goodness, this thing has occurred in my life. I better find out what the lesson is here, right? So God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, teaches us through experiences, right? And what I come to find out is that relapse is this wonderful way that God can take my finger and puts it right on the board of the thing that I was unwilling to do, or the thing that I was either unwilling, or the things that I should have been, right? Or that I was doing and I shouldn't have been. It's textbook. Look over here, motherfucker. Like right now. Like look right here. This is the thing. So, it is by no means a bad thing in some cases if you take these opportunities and you learn from them. You become willing to grow. I'm afflicted with a head, and my head wants to say I'm a bad person. My head wants to, but I have to remember I'm powerless. Okay? God has apparently not removed the situation. So my investigation, then, this is the truth, and I'm investigating truth here. So what do? I go and I sit in prayer and I ask God, please show me what it is about myself that I need to see. What is it that I'm not willing to do, or what is it that I'm doing that I need to stop doing? What is it? Show me, please. Give me some sort of like window into me, because I'm apparently blind to myself. Show me what it is that I need to see. Pray and ask and beg. Ask God to reveal this stuff to you. Tell him, make it big as a billboard, because I'm kind of dense, right? Make this stuff for real. And then in meditation, completely just sit. Stop doing. Stop thinking. Stop trying. Stop efforting. Stop doing and start being. Okay, so that's what meditation is it's an exercise into what it really means to just surrender. Surrender all of my thoughts, all of my ideas, all of my emotions, all of my angers, all of my upsetness, all of it just, okay, God. And so often in those times of meditation, what I'm given is these gifts of insight, these little ahas, like, oh my goodness. Like these little insights, they can be so transformative. If you've never relapsed, right, you'll have no idea about what I'm talking about here. If you have relapsed, you may have an understanding of what I'm talking about here. There can be a time when you have this aha moment when you're like, oh, and everything just becomes clear as day. You're like, oh my God, what was I thinking? I can't, you know, and it's that. Then take that little bit of information and add that back into a prayer, right? Because this is not about me getting sober on my own volition. This is about me getting sober with the help of some power greater than myself. I have no idea what it is, but I talk to it every single day. So what I find, I take that stuff and then I add that into my next prayer. Aha, thank you for showing this to me. Now, tell me what to do with it. You know what I mean? Please help me to not make those choices. Help me to stay away from that. Help me to, just ask for help, right? Ask for divine help. One of the things I often hear is, people don't pray and meditate on a daily basis. And step 11 is really, really, really clear in the book. It says, upon retiring at night, upon waking in the morning, and many times throughout the day. My sponsor used to go like this: ding dong, how many times a day at least are you going to connect with God or your idea of a higher power? Like 3. He's like, yeah, at least. Are you going to sit? Help. That's the simplest prayer, is help. The second simplest prayer is, please show me the truth. And then the nighttime prayer is always a version of thank you. Thank you where you showed up here. Thank you for your help me with that. Thank you for this. Thank you for that. My mantra is ask, listen, do. So ask in prayer, listen in meditation, do, take your clues from what you've just heard, and do. And then when you see the results in your life, say thank you. God loves to be appreciated. God loves to be thanked. To let him, her, it, they, them know that you get it. That, whatever it is doing for you what you could not do for yourself. And you realize that now. And you're seeing that. And you're seeing this actually happening in your life. So give thanks. Thank you. Say thank you as often as you can. So yeah, that's the other thing. The other component that, I see people in the program and but they're just unwilling to do that prayer meditation, this whole, and so to them, I don't know. It says God or higher power how many times in the steps, and you're going to choose to do this in a way that's not a surrender to something based. I mean, come on now. Of our own understanding is a huge loophole. Nobody's saying you got to find this God or you got to find that God. Just saying you got to be willing to just try ask to something, right? The We Agnostics chapter is not designed to sell you on a specific religion or a specific type of prayer or a specific type of anything. What it's designed to tell you is that your plan doesn't work, right? Your plan isn't working. And it's just suggesting, it's creating this openness, it's creating this sense of wonderment that you might actually step out of your preconceived ideas, your prejudices. Yeah. Prejudiced of God. Yeah. I'm a gay guy. I got a black boyfriend. So I don't think I'm prejudiced. Oh, heck yeah. I was really prejudiced with God. My ideas of God. Oh, hell no. Right. So I had to let go of those. I had to relinquish. I had to say, you know what? I don't know. I just don't know. And there came a point, though, that I decided, but now I'm willing to find out. That's the truth. I don't know, but I'm willing to find out. And that finding out is the investigation into prayer and meditation. Asking. The third step prayer is, God, I offer myself to thee, to build with me, to do with me as you want. To give my difficulties, that victory over them may bear witness to those I would help. Right? So take away all my problems. That victory over those would show other people, oh my God, look, he was a mess, and look at him now. Maybe I should try that. It's just this. It's the prayer of surrender. It's I just don't. I don't have it. I don't got it in me. I've blown it every way I can. And so relapse is one of those times when for some reason, we get our great ideas together and we decide to follow one of those obsessive thoughts down the trail of no return. And that's what happens. You know, you're not a bad person. You're a person that's still powerless. That's all. That's it. God hasn't removed the situation. So, my sponsor used to tell me, if God's in control here, I suggest you nuzzle up and get real close to God. And I make the joke of, if you have a boyfriend or a girlfriend and you never call, you never write, you never send flowers, you never text, you don't do, never email, you don't do any of that shit, Facebook. But then come to the end of the month and you say, hey, babe, you want to pay my rent? What are they going to say to you? No way, man. No way. It's a two-way street. So a relationship with a higher power is just like any other relationship. It takes work and it takes effort. So start investigating it. If you need to be reminded in the morning, pray at night to ask to be reminded in the morning. It's that simple. God can do for you what you can't do for yourself. So whatever you think you can't do for yourself, make a list and put that stuff into a prayer. It's that simple. It's that simple. So, if relapse has happened, right, then relapse for you is the truth. My suggestion is that you investigate this truth. Get down to the bottom of it, because you can sit there and judge it all day long and think, oh, you're a bad person. That's not going to solve the problem. That's not going to prevent you from relapsing next time. That is not the answer. That is just still more problem on top of problem on top of problem, right? When you're ready, you surrender, you let go, and you go, okay, what do I got to do? What do I got to see? What do I got to learn? The faster you get to that point of, okay, show me. The faster you get there, the faster you'll be done with all this stuff, right? Because that's how it is. We are, we like to do things the way we like to do. But after a while, we realize that the way we're doing it's probably not the best way out there. And then once you actually develop this ask, listen, do, say thank you relationship, oh boy, you start realizing that, you know what, your way sucked in many different ways, and this way it actually works really, 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 really well. And all the different things that you're gaining and all the different gifts that you're getting from this new way of being is so much more rewarding than the old way. So, and I know that at some point you're like, you just think, oh, but I want that feeling, and the truth is, you'll want it until you don't. So I always tell people, dude, if you want to go out, do it. Do it to the best of your ability. Some people die. My feelings is I would much rather a drug addict died of drug overdose than somebody who'd never done drugs before in their life. That would be sad. But hey, drug addicts are doing what they're doing. So there's a saying, give an addict or an alcoholic all they want until they ask for no more. Then and only then can they own the experience of being done. Be done. Get done. Do whatever you have to do to get done. Right? And then when you are done, then turn it over. Ask God. One of the other things you can do is, if you don't feel like you're done, you can ask God to help you get done or be done. Because being done is really just a state of mind, and God can do anything for you you can't do for yourself. And if it's just about changing that simple state of mind, that's simple. That's super simple. So that's my 2.5 cents on relapse. Relapse is a part of my recovery. If it is a part of yours, I highly suggest you investigate why. What is the lesson? What are you being shown? Because there can be an absolute pot of gold gift at the end of it, no matter what those people who have never relapsed said. Yeah. Now, and again, this is not any reason for you to go get loaded tonight. Oh, because Nikas said there was a pot of gold waiting for me at the end of relapse. idiot. No, it's not about that. But it's just, there's no reason to feel bad. You are a person that has the disease of alcoholism, which presents itself in all the different types of addictions. You know, I was an alcoholic who likes to shoot meth alcoholically. And you're powerless. So the sooner you turn this over, the sooner you get this relationship going, the sooner you'll get this spiritual cushion around you. So that when people say, hey, would you like, you're like, nah, thanks. Thank you though. Appreciate it. But no, I'm sober now. Yeah. And that, you know, that's a wonderful thing. I am no longer afraid of drugs and alcohol at all. I'm not afraid. You know, I can go drag friends out of really sordid places. I can have people stay with me while they're coming down, and I can pour the drugs out for them. I'm not afraid. I respect drugs and alcohol. Trust me, I do respect them, but I'm not afraid of them anymore. And I just realized that, you know, anybody that's trying to get you high, they got their own life and their own motives and their own, you know, I just say thank you, but no thank you. That's it. That's all. Because it just isn't, it's not this whole life now that I got, I'm into it. I'm very much into it. So, yeah, that's relapse. If it is for you, be well.